Good morning. Today we deal with the poem Be Nobody's Darling by Alice Walker. Alice Walker, as we know, is an American novelist, short story writer, a feminist, a social activist who won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction for her novel The Color Purple. And we have already dealt with one of her texts. And she is somebody who is known for her fierce strength and the power that she has gathered from her own life experiences. As a child, she lost one of her the eyesight partially. She lost her eyesight. One of her eyes was turned blind, and in spite of the harsh experiences of being born into the black family, being having to suffer these struggles of being in slavery, only her family members had to face it, but you have a lot of repercussions, the after effects of the same. And she has faced all those struggles and came out with a lot of strength and power. And in Be Nobody's Darling, she talks about the idea of being an outcast, being strong enough to stand for your own originality, be original, and it's okay that you are named as an outcast. It's perfectly fine to be a non-conformist, if I could use a better term for that. And being a non-conformist, according to the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, a nonconformist is a person who does not follow normal ways of thinking or behaving. And nonconformism is a resistance to accept and follow the established norms, customs, dogmas, values, and traditions. And it's not just for the sake of or just for the thrill of it, but this resistance emerges out of the belief in one's own personal convictions. So there are numerous wonderful non-conformists in the world, and those people who made a difference in life, those people who created history, has always, or in most cases, they have been non-conformist, whether it was Buddha, whether it was Martin Luther King, Dr. Ambedkar, or Christ, and most people who created a difference. Or think of our own Maya Angelou. We have her poem "Still I Rise." Or you come to literature, people like Noam Chomsky. You have feminists like Simone de Beauvoir. All of them created a difference because they took a different path. They were non-conformists. So, "Be Nobody's Darling" is a poem which says that it's perfectly fine to be an outcast, somebody who is different, and somebody who is original. So, I would like to share the screen and then continue with the poem. So, let me try doing that. And "Be Nobody's Darling" is it's not a free verse, and you do not have any specific. um Once again, she does not conform to any specific particular style. Probably that's deliberate as well, where you do not find this conforming to one style, which is also a part of uh, conformism, right? So, "Be Nobody's Darling" by Alice Walker. Be nobody's darling. Be an outcast. Take the contradictions of your life and wrap around you like a shawl to Paris storms to keep you warm. Watch the people succumb to madness with ample cheer. Let them look askance at you, and be an outcast. Be pleased to walk along uncool, or line the crowded river bed with other impetuous fools. Make a merry gathering on the bank, where thousands perished for brave, heard words they said. Be nobody's darling, be an outcast, qualified to live among your dead. So that is the poem. Be nobody's darling, Be an outcast. Take the contradictions of your life, and it's perfectly fine that you have contradictions in your life. There may be some moments when you feel like being somebody who is an extrovert who would jump around, run around. Sometimes you may feel like sitting alone, which is not loneliness, which is the solitude that you may probably cherish, which is perfectly fine. And your ideas may change as you move on with your life, because you change as a person, because everyone evolves, and that is fine as well. There may be contradictions in your life as well, which is normal, and it's okay to be an outcast. മാങ്ങയുള്ള മാവിലെ കല്ലേറ് കിട്ടൂ എന്ന് പറയും. Only when you are somebody who bears the fruit, you would be thrown stones at. People throw stones at you because you bear fruit, because you actually come out with something which is not probably they are not able to bear them, or they are unable to give what you give. And take those contradictions, take those differences, the originality, the non-conformity, and take all those differences. Tandedi എന്ന് വിളിച്ചോട്ടെ, femininity എന്ന് വിളിച്ചോട്ടെ. Let it be anything. You can take all those words, take all those contradictions, wrap it around yourself, and think of Kutikanam, some a place some like Kutikanam. You can wrap it around a shawl, like a shawl. And to parry stones, if these stones come, it comes focusing on your head, or your, they try to pull you down. Just leave it. Parry stones to keep you warm. Watch the people succumb to madness with ample cheer. You can literally condemn them for what they say. We know the people who talk against you. Numerous people. There will be so many people who are there to talk a lot of make up, cook up stories, put no nose into your business. Do not mind. Let them go mad with their thoughts. Let them go mad. They let them be not be able to accept that you are different. Probably you are original. You talk what is truth, and you speak on the face, which is perfectly fine. So the writer, the poet, talks as an outcast, talking to the other outcast out there. Okay, so we outcast, you can be outcast, which is perfectly fine. Let them go be mad, and with ample cheer, let them look askance at you. Let them look with aggression. Let them be whatever they wish. And you, askance, reply. You can do the same. You can do something like you are irritated. You can ignore them, leave them. Be an outcast. Be pleased to walk alone. There are moments in life where you feel happy to walk alone. There are certain routes, certain ways that you take alone. Think of the poem by Robert Frost, where you know that um, I took the the road less traveled by, and that made all the difference, right? So you can think of that as well. You can make a difference with the way you are. I hope it's getting so. Just like Robert Frost took the different path, you can think of the same as well. I think there is an issue with screen sharing. Okay, so you can disapprove of other people. It's perfectly fine to disagree with others. A scam is to disapprove, distrust, and you can be that. Be pleased to walk alone. You can take the different path. it can be uncool. You may be called as somebody who is uncool without lining up with the crowd or line the crowded riverbeds with other infectious fools. You have numerous infectious fools out there there are crowds. It's easy to join the crowd, and it's not always easy um, no- uh, to be different, to take a completely different path. And impetuous means acting or done quickly without thought or care. And you have so many people who would follow the crowd. That number is very high. It's easy to line up on the riverbeds without actually thinking, without using your brain, without actually being in yourself, without being original. To conform to the norms of the society, the traditions, it's easy. But to be different, to be outcast, it needs courage. Take that courage. Make a merry gathering on the bank where thousands perished for brave, hurt words they said. You can think of, uh, you can make a merry gathering on the same river bank where there were numerous crowds. You can take this stanza in two different ways. It could either be to the set of people who gathered out there, who are who followed the gang, who followed the crowd. It also refers to the thousands who perished for brave heard words. The number of people who have perished, who suffered because of the hurtful words said by the others, that is not in hundreds, it is in thousands. There are numerous people who perished, who suffered because of the hurtful words that others said. And we shouldn't worry about what other people say. That is not a matter. Make a merry gathering in the same place. Celebrate, you outcast, we outcast. Let us celebrate, make merry. Be nobody's darling. Be nobody's darling. You needn't even be a kind of be the darling of everyone. People. If you feel that everybody loves you, if you feel that everybody should love you, that is difficult. It's not easy to make everybody happy, and it's not necessary. The point is that it's not necessary to make everybody happy, and it's perfectly fine that you are an outcast, a rebel. You talk what is truth. You are original, which is perfectly fine, and you needn't be acceptable to everybody. Be an outcast, qualified to live among your dead. We have numerous people who are dead, who live as if dead, as if they do not have originality. Those people whose thoughts have no originality, who do not think at all, and who live just like the dead. And we needn't be that. Be like Ulysses, who lived life to the least, to the end, to the last drop. Celebrate life to the last drop. So, to conclude, this point talks about the idea of non-conformism, the idea of individualism, and there is certain, and you find certain elements of despair, a kind of pain, where people are not allowed to be what they are, to be original, where people expect that you should follow the crowd. And here you see a clear strong point of view from the poet, who says that it's okay to be, even if you are called an outcast, it is fine. And being a black writer, she has suffered a lot. She has been marginalized. She has been called an outcast, and throw it all away on the one. You can either throw it all on the one side, or you can even take that as garlands. You can take it as shawl, wear it around yourself, keep yourself warm and stay strong. And we also have the idea of the American dream. She is an American writer. The American there you have in literature this idea of the American dream, where you have the idea of self-made man. The American man says, that every individualism is something which is really important. In case of India, we generally say that we should have a life, or we spend a lot of time for others, and we live a life for others, and you should always um, do something for the other, and your life is more for the others more than for yourself. And we even think of the idea that it's wrong to prioritize yourself. But in America, you have this idea that individualism, giving priority to the individual matters, and you have the idea of self-made man who takes up the bridle in your own hand. You take hold of your life, and you work really hard to build up yourself, and you give a lot of priority to the individual. So that is the American dream, and you can even connect it with this idea. So you have the main idea is the idea of non-conformism and individualism, where you should be original, and it's perfectly fine to be original, and to know that you needn't be a darling to everybody. And you can even connect it to the feminist idea of considering women to be the doll who was loved and celebrated, and you needn't be the darling to everybody, and which is perfectly fine. Have your originality, have your individuality, stay uh, with your thoughts, and let the others be what they want to be. And even if they go mad because of seeing you being original and probably a little bit rebel, it's fine. Let it be. And that's all. Thank you.